Happy birthday, United States. Happy birthday, Miss Liberty.
It's been said that we Americans count our blessings too seldom, but not this weekend.
I don't know, it was, the whole harbor was jammed with boats, and I don't know, it was just really...
I think for most of us, it was hard to recognize you were really a part of history.
I literally felt like a kid in a candy store.
I can't tell you the feeling of riding out in that harbor and seeing the tall ships at anchor.
It was great. It was spectacular.
It was the most exciting job experience I've ever had.
When you work for 2 years for one day, that day means an awful lot to you.
Watching the tall ships go by, the Eagle leading the parade, the fireworks at night, just unbelievable, unforgettable. That memory will be in our minds for the rest of our lives.
July 4th, 1986, the 100th birthday for the Lady of Liberty. A day filled with patriotism, an evening of fireworks, and a harbor filled with thousands of boats, all trying to get a close look at dozens of tall ships.
Operation Sail started to invite ships about 4 years ago.
OpSail 86 coordinator, Jay Coleman.
We brought in 40,000 spectator boats and kept it safe.
We commenced our planning back in June of 1985.
For Coast Guard Captain Gene Henn, July 4th was a day that climaxed 2 years of hard work. It was a pure expression of an important Coast Guard mission. As patrol commander, it was his job to guard the safety and security of the nation's largest port on its busiest day ever.
We put together our timeline, developed the op order, and from that, then the other Coast Guard elements saw where they fit in. The city saw what they were expected to do.
People always say with trepidation, you're going to have gridlock, you're going to have this, you're going to have that. And it always works that our cops, our firefighters, our emergency medical service, all of the people who have to provide essential services, Ben Ward, police commissioner, they always come through with flying colors.
OpSail saw what they were going to be faced with, and the Navy saw where they would fit into the puzzle.
There's always a lot of apprehension when you have this many people, the President of France, but we've got a lot of good people watching over us, too.
Basically, the Coast Guard drove the whole operation.
A lot of people didn't comprehend what we were telling them. This will be the largest celebration of the century.
It was the largest armada of Coast Guard vessels ever put together in peacetime operations.
This is their largest operation since World War II.
Secretary of Transportation, Elizabeth Dole.
There are 40,000 vessels here, and D-Day, the Allies had about 7,500, so you can see what a big operation this is.
We had, on the active duty side, over 1,000 Coast Guard men and women out on the water. We had over 300 reservists, and we had over 1,000 Coast Guard auxiliaries, and over 100 Coast Guard boats, and over 250 Coast Guard auxiliary boats. So it was quite a armada, quite a legion of people.
There was a very tense feeling aboard the ship. It must be the feeling that soldiers feel right before a battle, of great expectation and wonderment.
I was wondering how the people were going to react to me as a Coast Guard person.
Petty Officer Brenda Tonkin.
And how I was going to react with them as authority.
We knew as we got down close that we couldn't do everything.
Chairman of the Coast Guard Statue of Liberty Committee, Captain George Geller.
We had to keep flexible. We had to view the thing that we had put our best plans together, and although we had never done anything precisely like this on the water side, we were in fine shape and we were going to make it happen.
All of a sudden, I remember hearing the engines gear up, and then I remember hearing the anchor chain lifting. And I picked up my walkie-talkie and made announcements to all the units and to the OpSail control on Governor's Island. The Eagle is underway.
The procession that we're about to witness will be as colorful as fireworks, as majestic as Lady Liberty herself. I hear you. It'll speak to us of the past, of the days when great ships like these dropped anchor in our harbors to unload tea from China, whale oil from open seas, and yes, immigrants from around the world.
The emotion that I had when I saw the Eagle pass by the statue, between Governor's Island and the statue, was a sense of elation and wonder and pride in being a part of this spectacular event. I literally felt like a kid in a candy store.
The eyes of the world were focused on New York Harbor during Liberty Weekend.
Coast Guard Public Affairs Officer Mark Wolfson.
The way that the world saw what went on here was through the lens of the television camera and from the broadcast booths of the radio networks that were covering from here on Governor's Island. Because your attention was focused on the harbor and you couldn't see anything but the ships coming by, it was almost unreal. It was like the southern end of the island had been transformed into a fairyland.
At the Coast Guard Vessel Traffic Service headquarters, a half a dozen radar operators worked alongside the patrol commander. They literally had their hands and eyes full as they directed the movement of all the tall ships and Navy vessels from 35 nations.
It had to be very difficult to decipher all the information that was on the screen. It looked like one big solid landmass, with the exception of one channel between Governor's Island and the statue. It looked like you could walk to Jersey.
In New York Harbor, there were approximately 40,000 spectator craft of all sizes. And anyone from the sidelines, whether in the air, on a building, on the land, could see very well-defined lines. The harbor was like a neat, organized parking lot.
I had the biggest bullhorn in the area, big red, and everybody else had little gray ones. And I had another auxiliary boat that was in the area that just could not, I guess their bullhorn was just too small, and there was a lady auxiliarist on there that they just didn't listen to her. They come over to my boat and said, you know, get that pink yacht over there out of the way, and they had, Jimmy and Mario and I went over and with the bullhorn just told them to stay back, and they did.
We didn't lose a life or have any serious injury here in New York, in the water side or the shore side operations, and that had to be a highlight for me.
The commander, Coast Guard Atlantic Area, Vice Admiral Deese Thompson.
Well, I had no way of mentally picturing what 30 or 40,000 boats in New York Harbor would be like, or 35,000 people on Governor's Island shoreside. I knew we were going to be in for an extravaganza, and we were.
It's hard to wow the New York public. When I got on the subway to go back home after the fireworks, they were singing God Bless America on the subway trains.
The night of the 4th, there was fireworks.
shut off the about 40,000 rounds of fireworks. I think everybody was amazed at that fireworks display.
To stand up there and look out over the harbor, the darkened harbor, with the thousands, probably tens of thousands of boats as the fireworks started. Just a magnificent image.
Coast Guard set up all the safety zones for that, and not only set them up, but made them work.
I give them an A+. They really did a great job.
I'd do it again, but I think I'd give myself a couple of years before I tried it again.
After my experience on this, I'd be hard put to say anything but yes. I'd do it over again, absolutely.
I'd sign up right now. I'd do it again. I would do it again.
Yep. I want to be part of it next time.